It's 8 o'clock and let's start in Johannesburg, where officials have just made some arrests in their morning blitz to cut off illegally connected water lines. And Newzroom Afrika's Zola Sholwana now joins us live. Zola, tell us about what transpired.
Well, Aljan, just about 10 minutes ago, we saw police arresting some illegal immigrants that live in this building, this residential building, where Joburg Water is cutting off, illegal water connections, and City Power is also cutting off electricity. So we are told that at this present moment, water is not coming out of their taps because they have managed to disconnect some pipes. But this is a process really that takes a bit of time, and they are also saying that, in many parts of the CBD, especially these buildings that look like abandoned buildings, there are a lot of illegal connections of water and electricity. So they will be going around the area of Hillbrow, especially these buildings. I'm going to ask my colleague to show you where from outside they look like they are not well maintained, so those are the buildings that will be targeted. And I'm also told by Joburg Water, again, Aljan, that there are some businesses here in the CBD that have illegally connected themselves in the grid. One of them is a very big hotel, which I'm hoping that we will be able to go to a little bit later on, after the second building that where the water utility will be disconnecting water. Now, this operation is an operation that has been happening for quite some time, and really the water utility is really trying to recover its lost revenue. Billions of rands are lost, due to these illegal water connections that we get to see in the CBD, informal settlements, and some areas in townships. As you can see right behind me, there's, law enforcement, there's police, there's JMPD, there's also the community in blue, which is CPF structures from various parts. And this is to really ensure that in case people are resisting this operation or are trying to retaliate, you would remember that we've seen that kind of action, especially at Pumla Mkashi, Aljan, where residents would refuse to be disconnected by the water utility. But we haven't seen that here. It seems like residents are cooperating with the water utility. No one is trying to fight back, but we are told that the water utility is expecting them to try and reconnect themselves to the grid, because this building was once disconnected, and in many cases, shortly after the water utility leaves, then some people will try and see how they can reconnect themselves, especially these buildings that are also, or rather these businesses that are also closer to these buildings. I'm told that anytime from now we will be moving to the second location, Aljan, and that is where we will also be showing you, the impact of, these connections, and also the water leaks that you are seeing within the inner city. They go reported, but nothing really gets to be done. And that is because there's so many establishments and buildings that have connected themselves illegally. And, some of these have been doing this for several years. You would know that in some areas, the utility did mention that some people have been, running on free water basically for over a decade, and it is time for Joburg Water now to see how they can, regain their water supply. They also mentioned, the spokesperson that we spoke to earlier on did mention that they are looking into having conversations with areas that are formalized or not informal settlements as to how they can provide them with water supply and connect them to their water grid and ensure that the water is metered so that such instances are not, experienced. But of course, those are conversations that will be had later on, Aljan, after, people maybe will take action and decide to speak to the water utility. As you can see, the water work is still being done by the water utility. It's not a task that takes a couple of minutes, I'm told. It's something that takes a bit of time, and this operation is expected to go on for a couple of hours today until they get to the last building.